Hello, hello. I'm here with the 2021 LEGO Creator Surfer Beach House. Now this is a 3-in-1 set, but I've gone straight for the main build because I know from experience that the overwhelming majority of people interested in this set only care about this main build and not the vastly inferior B and C models. I also recognize the irony that stating that fact will motivate a lot of folks in the minority who do like those smaller versions of the build to come out and be more vocal in the comments. And I'm perfectly fine with that. It's okay. Now check this out. This is a Lego building, right? A Lego structure build that is enclosed around all sides. That is something rare. It is something I think that is worthy of being cherished, and something that the creator theme in particular has been pretty good about providing for us, for fans. So I definitely appreciate that right from the start. And it does look like it has an appropriate level of detail all the way around. And it looks like it has appropriate coloring all around. They went with a theme for how this would exist in real life and stuck to it. Around the outside, the ground floor has an opening door, and just around the corner from that is the shower area, which includes a small little bar of soap and a towel hanging up. There's a brick-built small palm tree off to the side, and those pieces get reused in different ways in the alternate build. You have just a little bit of water showing some suggestions of waves coming ashore and a little crab under there. For water this time, they went with dark azure. I'm going to say that I'm not that big of a fan of that color to represent water for either sea or lake. It just doesn't work as well for me, even though I love that color. It doesn't work as well for me as either regular blue or the medium azure. And then around the side here, you have a lot of windows. Well, all sides have some windows at the ground floor. We'll look at the interior momentarily, but this also has on the outside an additional surfboard just stuck there, and it's in sand green. Upstairs, there are a couple patches of weathering where the paint has worn down, and you can open up these shutters to let a little bit of light in through the narrow corner windows. There's an upstairs porch or balcony area, which gives you just a little bit of space to have a person waiting to enter there, perhaps. And on the railing is another surfboard that's just in medium azure. Up top, you got a small brick-built bird, just kind of standard fare for Lego Creator stuff. And one of the nicest things in this entire set, I think, is the sign, the surf shop sign, which is pretty perfect. That can also be posed around. You can rotate it around to face different directions, however you want to set up the posing of the set. And then there's this deck accessible from the interior. It has a single rotatable chair on it. You can spin that around a bit, and just some random stuff that people haven't cleaned up around the edges. You may have seen hinges as I rotated this around, and of course, those hinges allow things to open up so that you can get access to the interior, but you can go a lot farther than just accessing the interior. I'm going to go all the way with this, rotate these all the way around. This is by design, and check this out. So this is an open back layout of the exact same set. So if you want to put this in a corner somewhere, you get to experience a much larger area. It becomes something that just looks entirely different. This is not the most useful space over here now because you don't have anything back here. But I mean, look at that. That's a thing, right? That makes sense. This has some value. And if you were to do a little bit of custom building back here to connect between just these two upper floor sections, you don't even need to put something underneath, just put a single strut to hold it up. Then you have a much larger total building. So around back, let's look at the interior of the upper floor, which is just a small studio space. There's a sink there, a fridge, which is a decent build with a lot of studs on the side construction. There's a plant up on top of the fridge, and then there's just a bed, which is fortunately large enough to actually hold a figure, and it has the couple studs there so the person will stay in place. The ground floor is actually a shop, and there's a piece of furniture over there with a couple drawers. There are some cans of, I don't know exactly what, that are for sale there. And then this is some dive-related equipment, some water sports-related equipment. There's actually a set of air tanks on the other side there as well, and just plain white. And then on the other side of that room is the checkout counter. So these two sections would hinge together, and that's all part of just the same interior space. That is a new print for 2021 for the register there and the 1x2 slope. all that just comes together, and that's how that looks. So you have just a single entry. There you can see the air tanks I mentioned. Single entry from one side, and that's just here. That's just it. That is it for the details of the main build here. But we also get to do these 3 brick-built animals, a pair of sea turtles that are rather large. This is supposed to be a full-grown one. And you can change the angle of the tail a little bit. You can also change the angles of the front legs. The rear legs have a little bit of range of motion, but that's nice for, again, a truly brick-built thing. And this is intended to be a baby, which actually has a little bit more range of motion with its representations of legs. I think these are done pretty nicely, for just using regular Lego pieces with no prints or anything. They do use prints for the dolphin, though, and those are just for the eyes. I like the build of this, especially how the mouth is done, the lower jaw. Yeah, and this one you can flap right there. You can flap these up and down. You can use that to pose it, kind of looking like it's coming out of the water a little bit. You can open the jaw and close it. The only thing that's not great about this is the use of the medium blue color of the headlight bricks there. I guess they don't have that part yet available and weren't able to get permission for this season to get that rebuilt, or recolored into medium azure, which is the main color used for this. This is a super bright color, not the most realistic, but I think it's pretty charming personally. Here are the 2 actual minifigs with the retro-inspired but modern-produced and modern quality torso on the left that is not entirely common just yet. Similarly, the teal short legs on the right are very nice to get. I hope that they will produce lots of those and make them very, very commonly available. A lot of people like the teal color, and I think that just, more options, more possibilities is always better. Here you get the clickbait thumbnail face is what that will always be called for me on the right, and an alternate face for the guy on the left, maybe when he's concentrating and riding a really tough wave. And there are the leftover spare pieces, and I see a handful of things in there that I consider to be special and valuable. I'm going to talk about the alternate builds through these pictures only because I am absolutely supremely confident it is a terrible use of hours of my time to go through taking this whole thing apart and rebuilding it 2 more times. This is the pool house, they call it. Let me show you a better picture when it's opened up. So there's your pool with a diving board on it. You have access to the upper floor, but the upper floor here is just an open balcony. There's a little wall here which they hang some stuff off. And for the interior, one side I'd say looks like either a kitchenette or a bathroom. That feels like that represents a mirror up on the wall, but the counters could be just about anything. And on the other side is just a bed, and it's set up like a cot or maybe a futon. So they've used the surf sign pieces to be the top surface of it. The other build option gives us a lighthouse, a small boat, and a manta ray. I do like the look of that manta ray. However, I'm not a big fan of this lighthouse. Lego does lighthouses a lot, which is great. Lighthouses are very charming buildings just and landmarks, in real life. But this one has a square cross section going all the way up. And more importantly, on the bad side or the negative side, for me personally, the sides are completely covered up. You don't have windows. You don't have glass on all 4 sides up here. And that really takes away from the spark, the imaginative spark of it to me. This page of the instructions shows you the entirety of the interior detail down on the ground floor. So just a chair and a desk with a light on it and a couple of potted plants. And here's what the boat looks like from the other side. So you notice there is a wheel in the wheelhouse and otherwise some spots to just stand and maybe attach some small accessories. So those alternate build options, I think, are not good reasons to consider purchasing this set. If you want to make a Lego lighthouse, I think Lego has made enough lighthouse options in recent memory to just give you better parts packs to pick from. Whether you want to do something that is based on an official build or you're just looking for pieces to make your own custom thing, this is not a good set, I think. Not a good use of your money, if that's what you're going for, if you want a lighthouse. If you want that little pool house, that's cool, but you're going to be paying for a lot of extra pieces as well. I just feel like out of the 3, the only one really worth considering to to buy this, look at the others for inspiration, sure. But if you're looking to buy this, I think this build here is the one to consider. So given that, I'm going to look at the price of $50 US. The part count is well over 500 pieces, so the price to part ratio is fine. There are a lot of small pieces here, but there are some large ones as well. So I think that the price to part ratio is pretty fair, is something that you can actually look at, relative to other sets in recent memory. And then I look at the volume of stuff. I look at the amount of stuff that I get here. And it's not bad. It's not bad at all for $50. Closing this all up and just marveling at the fact that it is actually closed up around all sides. That's a good thing. It feels good to me. That said, this could be built, this same thing could be built using fewer pieces. Had this not been a 3-in-1 set, it could have been built with, like this could have been a single piece over here. Maybe it would have had a little bit less texture, but fewer pieces could have been used for the main walls here. And yeah, I think fewer pieces could have been used for many things when alternates were not needed. So you could do this, I think, for less. I think it might be, or might have been possible for Lego to put out something almost this size, maybe a little bit smaller, but almost this size as not a 3-in-1 for $40. That would have felt really good to me. As it is, $50 I'm okay with. It's not great. It is a good build though. It's not tremendous on detail on the inside. Looks good from the outside. That ability to just do this is really nice. So I'm happy about that. Let me know what you think about it though. Again, I do recognize that me saying that this is the build, this is the one to care about, this is the good one, and the other ones aren't as good based on very, very strong opinions of mine will motivate folks who like those others to defend their position. That's perfectly fine, but I still stand by the decisions that I went with and definitely stand by my own personal feelings about this. But feel free to share your thoughts and I will talk to you again soon. You can see the build for this on my Pure Build channel or on the Speed Build channel. So check those out and I'll catch you later.